Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Well, we are finishing up our positional 2026 rookie series, and we're going to talk tight ends today. Going to be joined by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host, and we're going to give you our top 5 tight ends for the NFL draft next April. We did our quarterback show, we did our running back show and wide receiver show, and we're going to discuss 5 tight ends that we think have a good chance of potentially hitting our dynasty rosters. So thanks for tuning in. It is the summer scouting season. Got all sorts of great content on this channel, and if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the website below. Great way to get access to all 22 film cut-ups of the 2026 rookie class, all sorts of ranks for the 2026, 2027 classes, as well as a fantastic resource. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's go over the 2026 tight ends that we can expect to draft in our rookie drafts next year.
Yeah, so we're going to talk tight ends, man. That's what the show is about today. And so I'm pretty excited because, like I say, tight ends need love too. So, Jason, we're going to only talk about our top 5 tight ends.
Right.
We did our wide receiver show. We did 10. Running backs, we did 10. I think quarterbacks, we did 10 too. So maybe we should have done 10, but we are going to only do 5. And what's your overview of the class? Let's just start off with that. What would ranking it from 1 to 10? What do you think?
I'm not that impressed. I'd say probably a 5. I'd say every single tight end that I watched, I wanted to see more of, and the ones that I saw a lot from, there were still elements of the game where I didn't think they were well rounded. So I don't know. Yeah, I think this is a high projectional type of class. Like there's your Oscar Delps and some that could pop off that we've been waiting on. I don't know. I'm not that thrilled about this class. A lot of undersized prospects as well.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm looking at our list here, and there's really one only over 240 that's listed, at least right now. But we're gonna have fun with this. I agree with you. I would rate it a 5 as well. I think we'll maybe get 2 or 3 usable, maybe round 1 through 3 tight ends. I'm thinking right now that we get, but I think it's going to be one of those classes that maybe we see a lot more on day 3 than the first 2 days of the draft. So I'm going to let you kick us off, buddy. I think I started off the wide receivers. So we're going to do 5 down to 1. And as I always like to preface this when we do this is we have not shared our lists, which I like. We had some zingers, man, in that wide receiver show. The fact that you still don't have Eric Singleton Jr. in your top 10, I'm not sure. We're gonna have to put a little wager on that one. So
I always wonder, did you look at Auburn's website and see that he's listed like 178? Like I was just curious. I don't know. He's quick, he's dynamic, but that size really.
Yeah, well, it's like a Zay Flowers type projection for me. A guy like that, just someone who's small, crafty, can get open, space creator. Like I get it.
NFL uses them. I get it.
Yeah, well, not very often, not very many, but
we'll see.
Similar, I think that like with this tight end class with all these 230-pound tight ends. I mean, so hopefully they're all going to be eating a lot this summer and
get them in the weight room,
getting in the weight room as well. So, all right, here's your number 5. Let's go.
Yeah, my number 5 is a guy that you and I kind of spotted maybe a year or 2 ago and kind of popped off. And I like what I keep seeing, man. I'm looking for a tight end that has some size, athletic ability, and has been consistently productive. I'm going with Jack Velling, Michigan State tight end. He transferred over to Michigan State last year, didn't have a ton of production. While I was watching the film, man, that offense was just horrible. The quarterback play wasn't that great. Velling, I saw he was getting open, sat in zone. I think there's a lot more to him. I think he's going to be a better NFL prospect than college. I know we hear that sometimes, but I kind of believe that because some of the same reasons he stood out to me at the Oregon State film is the same things I saw at Michigan State, just not a lot of usage. And that honestly, sometimes it wasn't his fault. So Jack Velling, I think he's got the movement ability. I think, when it talks about tight ends development, I think he is already going to be a nicely developed tight end for the NFL. And I like his pass catching ability. I think he frames the ball nicely. He's got good extension to the ball. I think he can be a nice, solid route runner. So just hoping that he can put together a little bit more. And I like the size, man. He's got the size in an undersized type of draft class.
Yeah, he's a number 7 for me. So he's outside my top 5. But I get what you're saying. And you're right. We have seen him before and talked about him many times. He has a lot of great vertical plays on film too, from what I remember.
Yep.
So like that size. I'm going to go with a projection for. I'm underwhelmed overall with the athleticism that I see after watching 10 or 12 of these tight ends, and I'm going to go with a complete projection here with Kenyan Sadi getting a lot of buzz right now, and Oregon tight end, 6'3", 245 pounds, only had 22 receptions on the season, 267 yards, but he had a 91.7 catch percentage. Now his ADOT was only 2.1. But what I like about watching his film, like I said, 22 receptions, and I'm putting some all 22 films, which is really a big deal because I got to go scout through a whole damn film for like 2 catches and try and put them all together. But watching this guy, man, the athleticism that he has is
crazy.
Really, really good. I mean, I'm sure you saw it too, the game against Penn State, just jumping over the hurling. But get this, his ADOT was 2.1, which is average depth of target. So, he's not a vertical threat with the ball in his hands, like, pre-catching the ball, but he's got one of the best yards after the catch. He's got a 10.1, which is one of the best by far in the tight end class. Now, this is projection because he hasn't had a lot of run.
There's not a lot. Yeah.
There is not a lot, but I'm going to take a swing, right? I mean, because this is all going to change. We're having some fun here, right? But if I'm going to bet on something with some athleticism, good situation, good offense, good team, I'm going to swing the fences with him. I mean, I don't have any shares in my C2C, and I'm sure like in our supplemental drafts, he is not going to be available. I'm sure he is already taken. Maybe not. I haven't really gotten that far to see on my rosters, but I'm going with the projection, man. I'm going to have some fun with this.
I can't disagree with you. I'll be talking about him shortly, but yeah, I mean, that upside is absolutely tremendous. I think he was an athlete coming out.
Yeah, he was.
Why you probably won't find
number 4 in his class
for recruit, right? So that's huge. My number 4 is going to be Georgia tight end Lawson Lucky. This is a guy that when you watch the totality of his game, I can see it translating to the next level pretty nicely. He came up clutch in a few games. I like the hands. He had no drops last season. Looked a lot better than Oscar Delp. As a matter of fact, everything I wanted to see from Oscar Delp, I started seeing more so in Lawson Lucky. And he's coming from a program where he's being put in the spotlight. He's battle tested against good NFL caliber type defensive players. I like what Lawson Lucky could bring. I think he can run a full route tree if he's asked to do so. I see some nice separation ability. I think the lateral movements, he's a bit stiff, but I see some of the downfield vertical threat in his game. He's a momentum builder. The acceleration off the line is good. Then it kind of breaks down. Then he hits another gear. So I think he's just middle of the pack type of tight end, maybe that 3rd, 4th round type of guy, but that is good enough in this type of class going into the NFL.
I like it. I decided I'm not going to tell you where I have them ranked because it's kind of taking the fun out of all of it. So I've changed my mind. I'm going to keep it to myself right now. All right, my number 4 player, we just got done breaking down his all 22 film, Eli Sters here, 6'4", 235 pound. What did we see? This kid played high school ball. We had mentioned earlier, went to Texas A&M, and then he went to New Mexico State, and he went to Vandy. They said, you're not playing quarterback anymore. You're going to go play tight end. I think we saw those the skill of playing quarterback in his game, and he found the soft spots in the zones. What did we come away with watching that film? I think you and I were on the same page. Good accelerator off the line. Guy's got some really good movement skills. 73% catch percentage. I think we were talking about that on his all 22 film. But I don't know. His route tree was all over, was good inside, outside. And his yards after the catch, I thought was solid, but the hands, right? The hands that he has, some of those catches were just outstanding, and he creates space, right? And the athleticism we saw there, he's got to get a little bigger at 235. I mean, that's my one question mark is how's he going to be used at the NFL level? He's not going to be in line much. In fact, in his versatility, his slot wide and inline alignment, he was only out wide 5%, slot 73% of the time, and inline was 22. So, he didn't play inside, less than 25% of the snaps. And when he did line up in the 22, that he was off tackle a little bit. It wasn't he was more in the backfield, I think, than on the line. But so that's my concern with him. I love the movement skills. I love the hands. He shows the competitive toughness, but I think he's got to get stronger in his lower half. And, you can win with speed at the tight end position, but you got to get physical and you got to get your hands dirty too. So that's where he might come up a little bit short for me.
That part I totally get. But yeah, I'm pretty high on this kid. I'll be talking about him here in a little bit. My number 3 is going to be Kenyan Sadiq, right? Sadiq. You've already talked about him, and yeah, dude, the athletic upside is going to be absolutely tremendous. I mean, he was stuck behind Terrence Ferguson, who, the Rams went really high in the draft, taking him, highly athletic. So obviously, Oregon could not keep Terrence Ferguson off the field, but still found a way that they knew they had to get Kenyan Sadiq in there and get him some run and get him some production. And, he came up pretty clutch in some of those games, just like we talked about that Penn State game with that long run, the hurdle, not losing any momentum and running right into the end zone after he hurdles the guy. So the upside is tremendous. We've seen this before, though, with these guys that are highly athletic, and sometimes it just doesn't translate to the next level. So he has a lot of development to do, but the upside, especially fantasy football wise, if he hits, man, he is going to hit big. And for that, I definitely got to have him in my top 5.
Dude, I respect it. I mean, he looks different when you watch him play.
He looks so different.
He just needs time, right? So they are
absolutely.
projection pick. So, well, I guess this guy I'm talking about is not in your top 5. Jack Endries, California, tight end.
Transfer.
Yeah, transfer. He's going to Texas this year. 562 yards on the season, 49 receptions, 91% catch percentage, only had 2 TDs on the season. He's 6'4", 242 pounds. I think he's going to have a great opportunity in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Watching him, he was Mendoza's one of his favorite targets last year.
Yeah.
And I just really liked his change of direction skills. And we talked about hands with Eli Sters. This guy, Jack Endries, man, this dude caught everything around him. Now, he's not going to be the fastest guy, but again, I liked what I just saw with his route running ability and his acceleration off the line. Really liked it a lot. So I like Jack Endries a lot. So I think at Texas, he's going to go there and potentially have a really good season.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there was a couple plays where Mendoza, which I got to give credit to Mendoza, he hit him right in stride. And this kid, once he gets the ball in his hands, if he's in open space, you see the speed pick up. But he was a little bit too lumbering for me on some of his routes. And I'm not sure if the long speed is there to make a difference. But I mean, as a catcher, I think he's going to be a little bit better of a Gunnar Helm type at Texas. I could absolutely see him filling that role beautifully. So I can understand you putting him in your top 5. My tight end 2 is going to be Max Clare going over to Ohio State, and I like what I saw from Max Clare. I think he's a solid tight end. You see some athletic upside. I like the acceleration off the line, even when he's in a frog stance coming out. I think some of the route running it's good. I want to see his breaks be a little bit more crisp and more manipulative. But other than that, I like the hands. He had a couple drops, but I think, we saw him also catch outside of his frame, hauled in. He did have that fumble. But I think ultimately, that's kind of nitpicking to his game. I think get him in a system with Ohio State where he doesn't have to worry about being the main character on that offense, and there's other weapons around. He can just, work and develop and become a little bit better and have hopefully more consistent quarterback play. We could see a better type of Max Clare who's already been productive. So he is my tight end 2. I could see his skill set translating pretty well to the NFL.
Yeah, well, we just did his all-22 film review for the Big Board subscribers, and we broke his film down 3 games. And I echo what you said. His route running was pretty good. Good route tree, his acceleration off the line of scrimmage, his foot fire, and his ability to create space, in the initial part of his route. But you and I, we were beating him up pretty bad when it came to at the stem. Are you defensive, manipulating your DB, or because a lot of the plays that we watched, he wasn't the primary target. So you got to take that in as how much effort is he given if he doesn't think he's getting the ball. But in a weak class, he's my number 2 as well. And I think he's got another outstanding opportunity. And, again, all of these guys just seem like day 2 players to me. I mean, at best. So, I mean, as far as the class.
Best, I think is a good way to say it too. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I think at best is a great, that's probably a good phrase for this class.
I mean, we might have one emerge and bust out, and probably my number one guy if I'm going to bank on one. And I know you don't know who that is, and I'm sure you're wondering, but I know who your number one is because you haven't spoken to him yet, and you were going gaga over him on our ALL22 film breakdown. So let's have it, man. Come on.
God, I almost want you to tell me yours right now, but I'll go with mine.
I'm going to make you wait. I'm going to make you wait.
I know you're going to make me do that. I totally get it. I would make you do the same thing. It's just what we do. I'm going to go with Eli Sters, man. I think this kid is a huge difference maker. Like, he made this segment for me. Like, I looked forward to the segment after watching his film just because he was so much fun to watch. And I can absolutely see the ability of him being a mismatch. I love actually that he was a 4-star recruit quarterback, went to Texas A&M, transferred to Mexico State, and you could just tell that transition between quarterback and tight end, there's intelligence in his game. Like, he understands the game of football. It did not take him long to catch on to what he needed to do at the tight end position. That athleticism, I swear, sometimes when he's running with a ball in his hand, I could see like a Sam Levitt, when he takes off running, like it's the same competitive bully mentality, just running with the ball like a quarterback, even though he plays like a receiver, but he's asked to be a tight end. He's a very confusing type of prospect. But what he does on the field it's special, man. The movement mechanics, the hands, just his ability to, accelerate instantly. I think the breaks are instantaneous. He just needs to put on some more weight. He is not going to be a blocker. Like, he's going to fail to me in that sense based on the technique I saw. But if an NFL team can maximize the upside of his receiving ability, that's huge for an NFL team, and that's gigantuous in fantasy football. I think Stowers has the most upside out of Kenyan Sadi in this class.
Nice. Yeah, see, I think the guy I'm talking about next, and you've already mentioned him, dude. I'm all in on Lawson Lucky. All right, I am all in. I have him.
I didn't know if anybody was going to feel the same way as me, so that makes me feel good.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, what I was most impressed with out of all of these, you watch tight ends for 2 weeks, right? Preparing for the show, preparing just to get a handle on what we have for the 2026 class, and it all looks the same. All these guys.
You're right. Yeah, it does.
They're all in breaking, out breaking routes, 10, 15 yards or whatever. And then you watch Lawson Lucky, right? And the explosive plays. Did you see that he had 3 or 4 boundary catches this year, this past season, that were unbelievable?
His sideline awareness is unreal.
I mean, toe tapping, he's explosive. His vertical downfield catches, right, was something that I didn't see on all these other guys that we watched. I mean, occasionally you might see a bomb dropped or whatever, but I mean, Georgia didn't have the greatest offense last year. I mean, they were like, Beck got hurt, and it was just Beck wasn't what he was supposed to be, and they have Oscar Delp there too. So I think he's like this hidden gem in the class. I think if he were to emerge as the primary target this year, which I think he has a chance to do in Georgia, to be honest with you.
That tight end class is ridiculous at Georgia, man. They have that Jaden Riddell. They have this Elias Williams kid coming in who's like the next Darnell Washington. Like, it's crazy, man.
And if there's like one guy that, and the reason I have him number one is because I think that we haven't seen his ceiling yet, right? We have the floor of a lot of these guys, but I think we've seen the ceiling on the players that we've scouted, but I don't think we've seen the ceiling and the buzz on this Lawson Lucky kid. I think Georgia's just been in flux with their quarterback situation. I think this guy bombs out this year, and his movement skills and athleticism and explosiveness and the boundary catches just was the icing on the cake for me. He averaged 14.5 yards per catch, which pretty much led the tight end class last year. So he was a vertical threat, and I think he's got the wheels and the speed and the movement skills. I'm all in on Lawson Lucky.
I hope you're right. It was also the opportunity target share that's hard to figure out with this Georgia offense. They got some transfers in. I mean, Zachariah Branch looks like he's starting to come on. They're going to run the ball, I would think, like crazy. So I'm not sure if they're going to ask him to block more. It's so weird, but it makes him so much more well-rounded. Like I said, coming from a place like Georgia where he is going to be battle tested against NFL type competition. And that's huge. All these other tight ends, we're talking about projections, undersizes, like Lawson Lucky. I can't deny. I think that's a good call, man.
Yeah. Well, you got him in your top 5. I mean, like I said, this is going to be a horse race till April. I mean, the guys are going to emerge, there's guys going to fall back, and we got another whole college season.
And then one of the
football.
Iowa tight ends is going to come on, and one of the Penn State tight ends is going to come on, and here we go again, right?
I know Luke Reynolds. I'm a big fan. Somebody's going to emerge out of there.
Who's that Rapapaya guy? I hear.
I don't know him too. We'll see. So someone's going to pop up there. So
someone's going to pop.
I'll be watching. So that's not going to be.
I know you will.
So, well, there you guys got it, man. That is our early initial look at the 2026 tight end class.